So this is the final round of the candidates of 2013. Last round, Magnus is playing Peter Svidler and Kramnik is playing Vasily Ivanchuk. They have the same points, but because Magnus had more wins and losses than draws, he will win the tiebreaker against Kramnik if they got the same points. So if Magnus defeats Svidler, he's for sure to win the tournament and get the World Championship title. And otherwise he can't do worse than Kramnik. If Kramnik wins, Magnus draws, then Kramnik wins, for example. So Magnus plays against Peter Svidler. Magnus defeated Peter Svidler before, and it's like a little bit funny because at that time Peter Svidler played exactly this opening 63 with white, and now Magnus plays it back against him. So it's funny if he also saw Svidler's course on chess 24 about this opening. And I think Svidler did a4 here. Let's look again. Yeah, he does a4, but Magnus Carlsen instead play a3. You have to do something here because knight a5 trading of the bishop was threatened. So they play like this, which is a common way to play here. And for some reason now Magnus makes a4. But let's go over and first and see what happens in the game between Ivanchuk and Kramnik. Ivanchuk is playing white, round 14 here. And Kramnik, because he has to win, plays a very risky opening that he never used to play. So it's very weird that he doesn't play his regular stuff. It must have been because Kramnik must have thought Magnus will for sure get a draw against Svidler. Like if Magnus would offer a draw against Peter Svidler, like Peter would have been, it would have been the fastest handshake in the history of mankind if Magnus would have offered a draw again to Peter Svidler in the opening. So Kramnik for sure thinks that he has to win and he has to play a risky opening, not part of your repertoire. But that's actually a bad strategy. Kramnik should have played the Berlin Endgame and try that instead, I think. Then he would for sure at least gotten a draw against Ivanchuk. But he decides to go for the Piark system, which is it's a fine opening. But if Kramnik is not used to these positions, but yeah, Ivanchuk makes it easy for him. He trades on e5 and play a normal system here. So this should be fine for Kramnik. For Kramnik, yeah, because it's quite an easy position to play. But as we shall see, yeah, you can read it up here. Ivanchuk will win this game. So let's see what happened here. And I can imagine, because you're allowed in chess to look at the other games in the tournaments, I'm sure Magnus was observing this game as he played against Peter Svidler and saw what happened here. Now things have gone a bit wrong for black. It's no disaster yet, but this queenside here, it's a little bit weak. Maybe this pawn, black's pieces are a bit weak, so the opening has gone wrong for Kramnik. It's still no disaster, but it's a bit better for white now, I think. But yeah, black has his own play. A knight here, maybe trading off the bishop, maybe sacking here. Stuff like that could give black a lot of play. But instead of that, for example, here we could maybe try take knight here, and maybe something, maybe bishop here, something like that. Maybe tried such an attack. I don't know because how good that is, but maybe Kramnik thought about that, but he decided to play more positionally here. That's interesting. Ivanchuk gives up h3. Looked more natural to play like king h2 and then g3 looks more normal to me. So let's see what his plan is. He must have had some kind of a plan here. Okay, so his plan is to go for his own attack maybe here. He sack a pawn to get the open file here. But it looks good, quite good for Kramnik now. He's a pawn up, and I don't like this pawn sacrifice by Ivanchuk. I don't really see the point of that. So it definitely looks like black is better now, but this one is also weak, so maybe it's okay still, but looks like it's shouldn't be worse for black here. But Ivanchuk plays quite interestingly. If takes, black king is a bit of trouble here, but allowing the pawn to b6 is not good either. And now, things have gone wrong for Kramnik. The endgame is obviously quite pleasant for white here. A nice tactical shot here, forcing the queen trades. Why couldn't he take on b6? I see, because rook here threatening this pawn and bishop here, and when he takes, so he has to avoid bishop h6 by king here. Then white can take here, king takes, and then bishop here, and it's a fork. So b6 is protected. Then this is good for this is good for Ivanchuk, and the Kramnik actually resigned here, maybe a little bit too early, but he's one pawn up and it's a strong pawn on b6, and king is just gonna go up here and win. So this game was 47 moves. So okay, so Magnus is already clear to become championship candidate, but he doesn't know that when he's playing this game against Peter Svidler, because for a long time it looked like Kramnik was at least equal or even better sometimes when he won that h3 pawn. So let's see what happened in this game. It's now we're back to Magnus against Peter Svidler. So this is kind of standard Spanish maneuvering game. I don't understand these positions so really, so I can't say what's correct or not. But it looks fairly even to me here. For some reason it feels like Magnus have had so many games with a knight on h6 as white. Looks like that's one of his favorite attacking plans. I've seen maybe like 5 games now out of the 100 we have observed that when he does an attack like that. Yeah, f7 is threatened, so he has to do d5 here. Yeah, so it's because of this bishop is very strong here on f3, looked a bit better for Magnus to maybe trade that one off, because that bishop will get very strong here on h3. And if the knight moves, there is this queen h3 threat. So looked a little bit better, but it's complicated here. So Magnus decides to check, and knight h6, only move. Only move apparently, because why is that the only move? Yeah, okay, because black threatens to take and then take the bishop. Game is still even here. But yeah, I didn't really like that he kept that bishop alive, but maybe he thought that would increase his winning chances. Okay, here he could have played what? I see, can trade it like this. But what about the knight? Okay, then this attack is strong apparently. Okay, and then here. I'm gonna trust the computer that this is fine, but it doesn't look so. Okay, and yeah, maybe it was correct to try to trade the bishops here now. And now Svidler gets counterplay here with knight f4. Still quite an even game here. Looks like the computer likes queen f2 here. Instead he took here, only move apparently. Okay, you can't take that bishop because the rook is hanging. Have to go like here. And now Magnus makes a decisive mistake here. Queen g3. I'm just gonna take a guess that if he would have played this one, then Svidler might have taken the perpetual checks here. That's just a guess. Svidler could have tried to play on with this, but it looks at this endgame. It's a pawn up for black, but it should be a draw, yeah. Okay, but Magnus made a mistake here. He played queen g3. Now black is winning. Because he's one pawn up, but he kept the bishop pair instead of the opposite colored bishop. That's obviously a huge improvement, because as we all know, the bishop pair is better than the knight and bishop. Okay, and that's a nice calculation by Peter Svidler. Svidler, he calculated that white can't take the bishop here because the pawn will queen, as we see here. And white wins, black wins. So Magnus Carlsen was very lucky that Ivanchuk defeated Kramnik in the last round, and as we can see, the final results here is that Carlsen and Kramnik shared first place with 8.5. Svidler also, this must have been the best tournament of Svidler's career probably. He got third place here in this strong tournament. He and Aronian got 8 points, so that's a good tournament for both of them, and the other players are probably quite disappointed here. So let's look at the last rounds here. In round 13, Kramnik drew Gelfand, and in round so actually Kramnik was half a point ahead because Magnus won here and then Kramnik drew. So, and in the last round, of course, both Kramnik and Svidler lost. Okay, so this is the first road for Magnus to the World Championship match, and here we see a picture of Magnus, and this took place here, and next he is qualified for the World Championship match of 2013 that was held 7th to 25th October in India. It was a 12 game match here, so we will look at that later. So here is Magnus and here is Anand here. Okay, see you then.